What is up everyone, Ethan here from the Pixel Era Productions, wishing you a happy Halloween. Yes, it's that time again, the leaves are browning, and it is getting to be that spooky holiday that we all know and love. So, I thought I'd celebrate today by bringing you a brand new, spooky Halloween themed build. Without further ado, let me introduce to you the Headless Horseman. While travelers and merchants in Skyrim may come across the occasional wolf, there is little to fear when traversing Skyrim's trails in the light of day. But when nighttime falls on Skyrim's snow-blanketed mountains, the land looks much more foreboding. There is a legend whispered about quietly in taverns and inns, passed along by superstitious traders and townsfolk, told to little children to get them to bed in time. If one listens carefully, one may hear the almost imperceptible beat of hooves coming from a seemingly far-off distance in the night. And if one is extremely unlucky, on such a night one may see a spectral ghostly figure almost blending into the night, galloping upon a ghostly steed. And if one is truly down on one's luck, the ghostly figure may get close enough so that one may make out his head, and with a feeling of sheer terror discover that there is in fact nothing there at all. The Headless Horseman is a Nord of Skyrim. As a Nord, he will receive bonuses to one-handed and two-handed, which will be useful throughout your playthrough. Using the Aurora Standing Stones mod, the Headless Horseman will use the Warrior Stone throughout your playthrough.
Oh, there once was a hero named Ragnar the Red, who came riding to Whiterun from old Rorikstead. And the braggart did swagger and brandish his blade as he told of bold battles and gold he had made. But then he went quiet, did Ragnar the Red, when he met the shield maiden Matilda, who said, "Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink all our mead. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed." And so then came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal. And the braggart named Ragnar was boastful no more when his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
So goes the blissfully bloody tale popular in Skyrim's central hold of Whiterun. Little do the song's light-hearted listeners know that they are only scratching the surface of what truly took place on that bloody night. But to truly understand the depths of the gory tale, we must dive much further into the dark past of one famous Nord hero. Ragnar the Red was an extremely famous Nordic sellsword, axe to be more specific. Notable for his fiery red hair and beard and temper to match, nobody really knows when he was born or the exact time of his death. He is known to have taken a large role in a great many battles in Skyrim. However, historical records do show that Ragnar was insufferably boastful. He took to telling rather embellished tales of his own accomplishments in taverns, notably in the presence of as many women as possible. By most all accounts, old Ragnar went a little too far in his advances on one Matilda, a beautiful warrior at the local inn in the city of Skyrim. Quickly and unexpectedly, the young lass unceremoniously separated the famous hero's head from his body with the battle axe she always carried at her side. However, this is not the end of the tale. No, there is a much more sinister finish to the story. A necromancer, seeking to use the powerful warrior to his own ends, snuck into Whiterun's Hall of the Dead and resurrected Ragnar's now headless body. However, the conjurer in question proved too weak to control the powerful figure and was overpowered by the newly deceased body of Ragnar. Accounts tell of numerous sightings of a headless corpse walking through Whiterun that night. However, Ragnar's restless spirit did not seek to kill. Instead, he went searching for his loyal steed, whom he had come to develop a close relationship with. The poor beast had been spooked off and run to Hamvir's Rest, an ancient burial site that still stands today. The horse was felled by the group of undead who were frequently sighted patrolling the area. Ragnar came across the corpse of his trusty steed in the night. Satisfied that he and his loyal beast were together once more, he laid to rest, never to walk Skyrim's lands again. In theory, that is. If one does a little digging. Anyway, one may find that the brave lass Matilda was found dead in her house with wounds that looked suspiciously like the deep bites of a sharp axe blade. Still further accounts tell of the haunting beat of hooves that was heard outside Skyrim's dark forested trails, and yet more accounts report of a shrouded, headless figure galloping around Skyrim on the back of a ghostly courser. But of course, these claims are mere superstitions. Coincidentally, a series of deaths, none of which had a definitive cause, were found just weeks after the first report of the spectre that was colloquially known as the Headless Horseman. Also coincidentally, each and every victim's body was found with notable lack of a head. So, in Skyrim's month of frostfall, when the leaves crackle and the nights are dark and shrouded in a foggy haze, during the time of Tamriel's traditional witches' festival, the wise traveler would be careful to look surreptitiously over his shoulder more times than one when shrouded in the darkness of night. Of course, you will be taking on the role of Skyrim's Spectre, the Headless Horseman. As inspired by the legendary tale of Sleepy Hollow, most of your playthrough will consist of riding around on your ghostly steed and liberating the heads of innocent travelers from their bodies. Very few factions and questlines really make sense for this type of character, but just have fun with it. You can do any questlines that you want just for the heck of it, but if you're looking for a questline that's at least somewhat lore-friendly to the character, try the vampire side of the Dawnguard DLC. As for role-playing, pretty much just kill everyone you meet. Screw the law, you and your horse are out for revenge, and that revenge will be taken out on the people of Skyrim. As for a playstyle, you will be using your choice of a two-handed battle axe or a one-handed war axe. Also, in order to more accurately fit the original story of the Headless Horseman, who in some versions of the tale was said to throw explosive pumpkin heads at his quarry, you'll also be throwing around a few flaming destruction spells to add some chaos to battle. Moving on to the technicalities of the build, this character only has a few skills. He will be using one-handed or two-handed depending on your choice of weapon, heavy armor, and destruction. So we'll start off with the Headless Horseman's weapon skills, and those really depend on whether you go for the one-handed or two-handed weapon. If you choose one-handed, you will take the following perks: one-handed mastery, bleed like a lamb, mangle, and a disciplined fighter. If, of course, you go the two-handed route, you will be taking two-handed mastery, bleed like a dog, rive, and trained fighter. Another essential skill for the horseman will be heavy armor, and for that you'll start with heavy armor mastery, move on to heavy armor fit, and ironically go to face of death. Now, as you'll see in the footage here, I did forget to put this in my perk tree, but definitely remember to do that, as the Headless Horseman does not wear a helmet. Finally, we have what is perhaps the Headless Horseman's least essential perk tree, and that's going to be Destruction. You really only need a few perks to make your fiery destruction spells really powerful, and those are going to be Destruction Mastery, Combustion, and Scarring Burns. You can go as far up the fire branch as you really want to, but I only went that far, and I feel that there's really no need to go much further. But nonetheless, the following spells are nice to have: Flames, Ignite, Firebolt, Fireball, Incinerate, Fire Rune, and Firestorm. You can use as many or as few shouts as you want, but I chose Become Ethereal, Fire Breath, and Summon Durnavir, all of which fit the role-playing for the Headless Horseman quite nicely. And now we just have a few final things to go through. As for followers and mounts, you need no followers, but will obviously use your ghostly steed as a mount to get around and charge into battle. You don't need a real house, but you can make camp at Hamvir's Rest, as this is the final resting place of the Headless Horseman's previous existence. We move on to armor and weapons. He will use the Headless Horseman armor obtained through the Headless Horseman Returns mod. This mod adds a version of the Headless Horseman who patrols the streets outside Whiterun. Unfortunately, you'll have to kill him to get the armor, which doesn't exactly fit the role-playing. Sadly, there are no other options, so you'll just have to suspend your disbelief. It's well worth it for the terrifying aesthetic that you get from this armor. As for weapons, you have two options, as I've said before. You can use the Headless Horseman's two-handed ghostly axe that comes with the Headless Horseman Returns mod, or if you have some extra space in your load order, download the Headless Horseman's Head Taker mod, a war axe found in a chest at Hambeer's Rest, and the weapon used in this video.
So now we're going to incorporate a feature that I don't usually have in my modded builds, but this time we are going to be taking a look at the mods that can make your game look a little more Halloween-y, I guess, if that's a word, and if it's not, we are going to invent it right now. But anyway, some of them, as you can see from my footage, my game looks pretty sweet, pretty fitting for Halloween, so I'm just going to share with you a couple of the mods that really can make that difference. So as you can see, I have a lot of fog going around my world, and for that I used the cheat room mod, honestly, to change the weather to fog, and it lasts quite a long time. There's no mod that I know of that makes fog just permanently around, but if you want to do that, then that is certainly a good option. I also use the display enhancements mod to darken my game just that little bit, and it is definitely worth picking up, not only for this Halloween special build, but for any graphic changes that you want to make. It is a phenomenal mod. In fact, I may do a review on it in the future because it could just make such a huge difference in your game and your Skyrim experience. Here I have the Windhelm Halloween mod, and this is a really great mod that just adds some extra Halloween flair to the city of Windhelm, which is a great city and kind of a grayish, bleak city to start with. And then when you add those Halloween decorations on top of it, you know, the dead trees, the purple and orange banners, the pumpkins, the skeletons, the dead corpses, it just goes that little bit further. And I have heard rumors, though I have not confirmed them myself, that this mod also adds some dangerous Halloween-y creatures attacking the city at night. Of course, all the characters, including my character, the Headless Horseman, are souls in this game. They look like ghosts, and that is a really awesome effect. It makes it seem as though, well, of course, it fits the aesthetic of the Headless Horseman himself, and it also makes it seem as though you've pretty much killed everyone and you're just killing them again, and it's such an awesome effect, and that adds to the Halloween-iness of your build. So, I downloaded Soul Rim, which is the mod that accomplishes that. And of course, we have the Headless Horseman mods that are necessary for this particular build. So all these are really great mods that should definitely up your Halloween Skyrim experience. So that covers absolutely everything you'll need to know to take on the role of the Headless Horseman this Halloween. It was a pretty short video, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. As always, all the mods, both required and optional, are listed in the description below, along with links to their respective Bethesda.net pages and a listing of how much space they'll take up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that playing as the Headless Horseman will in some small way liven up your Halloween experience for this year. If you did indeed enjoy the video, please don't forget to tell it a like and leave a comment in the description with your suggestions. I try to reply to all of my comments, so you can expect to get a response there. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Headless Horseman. I've been Ethan from the Pixel Arrow Productions, and I will see you in another video.